Haven't done a video in a while. This is Bob, working on my Stepvan. It's a P3500 GMC. I'm hoping these are the right oil seals. This is for the rear end of the vehicle. Don't know if it's gonna be right or not. Got some bearings too. Lucas hub oil. So originally the problem was, I noticed there was a leak down behind the back of the wheel. And it's not leaking now, but you can see the stain underneath on the ground. It's where it looked like my brakes were leaking, and that's what I thought it was. So I took off the wheel and the hub. And you know, some of these are grease filled, some of them are oil filled. I don't know how, you know, this isn't my core expertise, so I don't really mess with these big vehicles like this very often. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pull the cap off. When the cap pulls off, there's a plate that comes off, and then you pull the spline out that goes all the way to the rear end. And then there's a castle nut and a washer. You got to fold the finger on the castle washer, or on the washer that holds the castle nut in place. Got to undo all that, and then the whole hub should come off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And we're going to see what we got inside here. Hopefully I can, hopefully the seals and the bearings are the right ones. So anyways, I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I was able to actually undo these 3 screws on the outside for these, and there's the end cap. Here's where I'm at here. This piece here should pop out. Yeah, I need to go get a hook tool or something to grab it. Yeah, let me go get a hook tool. Be right back. Alright, so I don't know, I'll have to see what the lip seal is. That is, if I can get that down on that right spot. It's right about, it was about 3.210 on this outer race. This outer race right here, you can see the polished surface. About 2.625. That's about 2 5/8 what that is. The outer polished one is about 2.25. So 2 1/4. Here's what it looks like on the inside. Here's the washer that holds the bearing in. Here's the top bearing. I have to wash my hands. And I don't think it's going to come out this way. It's going to have to press out to the bottom. They don't seem to be bad though. So let me see if I can get a picture. I didn't see any metal shavings or anything. Let me find my little rag here. So that is actually, try to get these numbers off here. Don't know if I got the right ones or not. Hyatt, made in USA. And it's a 86-B, and that is a B11786. Appears to look like. So they won't come off this way because of that ridge. So I'm gonna have to find some way to drive them out. Hopefully it's not gonna be a pain in the butt to get it out. Here's that lip seal. Hopefully I get that out and it just comes out. Let me see if I can find a number on this. I should have done this the other day, I just didn't think about it. 397 or 39T4350. And you can see where it's chewed. That's why it was leaking. Definitely why it was leaking. Could be when they slid it on, they didn't get in there just right. And I didn't look at the bearings here either. I should have done that the other day when I had this all apart. A lot of things I wish I would have done. And it didn't give me a chance to order a bearing race. So here's this number. I can see it better. That is hard to read. tell if it's Indian, made in USA. I can't tell if it's a word. DIZO 51 D12051. That's probably what it is. Okay. Alright, so here's what I got. Here's the old lip seal. I managed to drive it out. Had to knock it in a couple smacks, and then I finally was able to lift the lip up. The new ones I have different part number, same brand. I think they're same size. They will work. The bearings all seem alright. The bearings I did buy are more for the outer bearing, which would be that in there. This is the inner towards the axle. Anyway, so you can see that. Bearings seem fine. I'm not gonna worry about those. There's nothing wrong with them. I'd have to drive that race out. There's a keeper right there that you would squeeze those together, pop that off, and then there's a way to drive the race out. There's a, I got my flashlight here. There's a little notch. See that little key notch sitting right there? See if I can get a better picture. Right there. It will help you get behind this race to drive it towards me. So that's kind of, but I'm not going to go through all that. The race seems fine. I don't see any real damage on it, so it actually seems pretty clean. The bearings roll smooth. I rinsed them out with brake clean just to get it. There was a little grit, but it's more like sand kind of grit. So anyways, yep, I'm going to put these back in there. Blow them off real quick. Now the key here is to put this lip seal in, and you got to drive it. I'm gonna probably use a board plate and then a board to knock it down. You want to do it evenly as possible, because if you give one side, you know, sometimes you can get one side started and then just kind of work your way around, but you really need something that's this diameter. I don't have anything here that would work, so I'm just gonna use this plate because it won't flex, and then the board on top of it, and then I have another little block I'll use on this just to kind of slowly tap it in. It's a pretty heavy chunk of stainless. If I had a metal plate more that size, I would use that, but it's a pretty tight fit. It's a press fit. So plus when you squeeze that on, it will be tighter on there, and that goes right here. That has a lip seal for that. So anyways, I'll be back. Yep, that worked. I just put that plate on there, the board on top of that, drove it on down. I didn't even actually use that. Use my hammer. And you know, anytime you do something like this, get you some grease, put on the outside of that. And it's perfectly flush on the outside. And I'll put some grease on the inside now as I start putting it back together. And I'm not too worried about it mixing with the oil. The grease will stay on the lip seal. Kind of just to help it guide it while it's going into the, sorry, I didn't realize I had my finger on the lens. Really, traditionally, I don't think you really want a whole lot of grease, just because it'll attract dirt and dust. It won't wash away, and just kind of keeps the stuff there. So I just put a little on there just to kind of give a little something. All right, so about ready to put it back on. Let me clean all that up. I'll slip that back on. Grab that one more time while I'm in here. These brake shoes are thick. Almost, let me see here. I'm just so, I'll have to pull this back off. Yeah, it's pretty thick brake shoe. I gotta think of this compared to my finger. I had another one kind of for it. I'll wipe this excess grease out. Some of this stuff was here from when I first figured out my wheel bearing was bad. And the emergency brake actually doesn't work on this. You know, you got the starter wheel right there. I'm not sure what purpose it really has on this. I'll grab my flashlight real quick. I don't think there's a hole in the back that you can adjust it with. Maybe you can adjust to the drum, I don't know, but my brake is actually on the, if you can see the, right there, It's on the end of my drive shaft, right there. It's a e-brake, transmission e-brake. But anyways, I want to clean this up a little bit, so let me get all this back on. I'm gonna lube this up so that'll slide up over that. Alright, it slid right on. I had to push this bearing in. Slid right up. It just protects that seal. Real smooth. I'll get that stuff back here. There's actually a washer here. It goes over the bearing, and then that, and then this. And that's pretty much it. I took pictures so I knew how many threads were out. I'm gonna just turn them in until it feels like it's snug, and then the other side of it is I need to figure out how I'm doing this oil, because the oil needs to stay in this part, not in this. That goes down to the differential, if you can see that far. That's the differential. I need the oil to stay in this part here. I just fill it up enough to where it just stays in here. And that should be it. See how it goes. I wish there was a cap on here. Nice if there's a way to fill this hub itself. I don't know how you really do that. There's no hole in that. So I guess I just fill it until it stays full, I guess. Not really sure, but I know as long as oil's in here, I'm good. So that cap that's on the end of that, let me show you this. This is what came out from the rear end. There's a hole right there. It doesn't really go anywhere or do anything. It's just more of a threaded hole. So when you oil that, you just got to make sure it's going to stay in there. So, all right, be right back. All right, it's the end of it. I'm going to clean my mess up. So far, no leaks. What I did was I kept spinning the hub, and then that oil was so thick, that Lucas hub oil. I kept spinning the hub and just kind of blowing air into it to kind of push it through the bearing, and I kept spinning it, and it kept filling up, and then I put the spline piece through, had to time it so it dropped out all the way in, and then I was able to put the cap on. No leaks. Everything's working as it should. It's nice and tight. I got everything torqued down. See how it goes. Should be good to go. Anyways, just so you know the vehicle I'm working on. It's a P3500 Stepvan, 1974 GMC. It's actually a value van, not Stepvan. The P30, it's a Chevy version, is a Stepvan. This is the P3500 GMC value van. All right, thanks for watching.